All right, it's another beautiful morning, and you're welcome to Business Sense with Coach Simon. I trust that you're doing okay. I trust that business is going on very well. So, how is the situation, or how is the weather like in your side of town? For us at this side of town, the weather is a bit. The weather is lovely, I must say, and for me, it's a good sign that today is going to be a very, very, very beautiful and lovely day. Okay, so we started a series. All right, started a series talking about elements of business branding, and we looked at we looked at about a couple of things. We started with what branding is. We went ahead to look at the two major parts of that branding and that branding element entails, and started by looking at what people see and what people see. And in the last episode, we concluded with the units, or the series of components that there is, or that is contained in the what people feel. And so we started looking at the things that people see. And part of what we looked at the name. We also looked at the logo. So in this episode, we'll also be looking at two other things. All right, then we'll conclude nicely in the next episode. I trust that you're taking notes, and I trust that you're also checking side by side with what you have for your business to ensure that you're doing the right thing. And in case you are behind, not to worry, I'm here, all right, to help you should you need help. All right, or should you need an expert, or you need a brand designer that will help you with your branding. All right, so we'll look at colors. We'll look at colors as also another very important component as it relates to what people see. Colors. Now, the part of colors is interesting because it is something that most people don't pay attention to. I say this because when people come to me for me to design their brands for them, or to design things like as simple as a logo for them, and you ask them a very simple question: what would be your preferred colors? And some of them would beat about the bush. Some would tell you how they need one interesting colors they would mention. You understand? And some don't even have an idea of what color they would prefer for their business. And for others, for some, when you try to, as an expert, you try to suggest colors for to them, it becomes an issue. All right. So different strokes for the different categories of persons I've had to deal with. All right. But the good thing is that it's important for you to have your unique brand colors. It's important for you to have your unique brand colors. There are some organizations today, or there are some businesses today, that you identify them by their colors. Anywhere you see their colors, you know that, hey, this is this people. Anywhere you see their colors, you know that this is this people. It is also part of your brand identity. It's part of your brand identity, and it plays a very important role. It plays a very important role, rather. So you need to have your unique set of colors. Now, when we talk about colors, now there are traditional colors, or there are colors that when you see them, you know that they belong to this, particular industry, or you know that it is mostly used by people of a certain industry. For example, in the health sector, you will realize that the colors they use the most are colors like green, colors like blue. That is what they use the most. All right. Then when you also see other other people from other industry, you would understand, you will see, you will notice that there are certain colors that are unique to them. All right, like those within the financial sector. All right, you see colors like blue also plays an important role. You see colors like red, you understand, and it goes on and on and on. So depending on the industry that you play in, because colors are defined by their traditional use, and they are also defined by the emotions that they evoke, the emotion that they create, right? And so it's important that you understand how color works so that you're able to do that. But it's the point I'm trying to make is that it's also important as part of your branding elements. It's important for you to have your unique brand colors, and you need to use them as consistently as possible. The essence of doing this is so that people can get used to them. And the reason why this is also important is also for the sake of security, so that should someone try to impersonate your brand, they may find it very difficult to do it. You understand? So it is important. Now, I want you to also note that as far as colors are concerned, like I often advise brands, as much as possible, keep your colors flexible, but keep your colors firm. You keep your colors flexible, keep your colors firm. What I mean by the two is that as much as possible, let your identity, your logo, for example, be able to let it be easily used on different surfaces, as it were. All right. So because the neutral colors that your brand should assume, you should be able to fit into a black background, you should be able to fit into a white background, as the case may be. But of course, in most cases, because you have chosen a unique color, all right, that's why when people come to me and they said, my brand color is white and this, I just tell them, no, white is naturally a neutral. All right, so you need to use definite color. And when you're choosing your brand colors, please choose solid colors. Now, some people want to now use gradients. Gradients simply means a fusion of two or more colors. If you do that, you are going to be creating a lot of issues for yourself. Because you're going to make it limiting for you to use it for you to easily use it. That flexibility may not really be there. This is what I mean by flexibility. For example, my brand colors are mustard yellow, and navy blue. All right, mustard yellow and navy blue. Now, what this means is that my logo can be all blue on a mustard yellow background. All right. At the same time, too, my logo can be on the other side. My logo can be all mustard yellow on a navy blue background. You will see that. I can also use all of them I can use all as white on a navy blue background, or all as navy blue and the mustard yellow on a white background. You understand? So so that you can play around it, so that you don't make it too monotonous. You understand? You don't make it too monotonous, so that it can play that way, that level of flexibility and that level of multiple usage or multiple faces. All right, you can use it in multiple ways. That way, you don't make your brand identity boring. Don't make it boring, because there are brands that I design flyers for on a regular. All right, even though they want to maintain certain colors. All right, try to maintain one certain color scheme, because the colors are a bit flexible. I'm able to represent those colors in multiple ways. That is the way, that is exactly what I'm talking about. So it's very, very important. All right. And what I also advise people is advise those brands or those businesses that care to listen is that when you are choosing your brand colors, restrict it to the maximum of 3 colors, excluding white. White is the base. Restrict it to maximum 3 colors, 3 solid colors. 3 solid colors. If need be, get the color codes and write them down somewhere. So with the color codes, anybody you meet, and if you want anybody to work, to maybe work on your anything at all that has to do with your brand, you can just easily give them the code and they can just impute the code and they get the exact colors. Now, the reason why you should restrict your colors, like for me, my brand colors are maximum of 2. Maximum of 2 is so that people can easily remember it. People can easily remember it. I remember one of the telecommunications company, talking about MTN, they used to have multiple colors as their brand colors. I think on their, they have predominantly yellow color. All right, predominantly yellow color. Then there is black. I think there is blue. Then there is red and there's white. You understand? But the latest version of their identity now is blue, is yellow and black. Yellow and black. You understand? Yellow and black. And I think they did a reworking on that, on the entire icon. You understand? On the entire icon to make it simpler. Now, what you need to understand about identity is that the simpler, the easier for people to remember you. The easier it is, the better for you. And so complexity, the days of complexity are gone. You understand? Like I always jokingly tell people, your identity is not an artwork. All right. If it's an artwork, you can go all artistic about it. But your identity is something that you want people to identify you with. And it is one thing for them to identify you with it. It's also another thing for them to remember that it is you. If it is too complex, they may not be able to remember it. The same way with your name. I think I didn't mention that in last episode. If your name is too complex, if your name is one native name somewhere and it is not the type that can be easily pronounced, it becomes a problem. You understand? Because if people cannot easily even pronounce it, chances are that they may not remember you. And if they don't remember you, how would they be able to further patronize you? So these are the little things that you need to have at the back of your mind. Then another thing that's also important, which you need to state that for people to see, it has to do with your products or services. Products or services, they are very, very important. The question therefore is, we know that this is your direction. This is the direction you're headed. We also know that if your brand is to be a person, this is the characteristics of your brand. They know that one already. The question is that, what does this brand even do? What does this brand even do? It's just like when you are meeting someone for the first time. You're meeting them for the first time. They admire your appearance, right? They admire your appearance. And the kind of perfume that you wore is something that is really amazing, and they commended you for it. You understand? And maybe you guys shook hands and you introduced yourself. Part of your introduction could also be what you do. Because naturally the question they want to ask you, especially if it's in the business, maybe kind of conference, you understand, the natural question people want to ask you is, what do you do? What do you do? So it's important for you to clearly state the things that you do in bullet points for that matter. Clearly states in bullet points for that matter. If need be, it could be the maximum of 7 key items. You can just say and lots more, or 5. The fewer bullet points, the better for you, because the whole idea. Now, let me say this. The whole idea for branding is not about you. It's about people. It's about those you are targeting. I will say that again. The entire essence of branding is not about you, but it is about the people that you are targeting. But if you make it all about yourself, then you may be missing out on a whole lot of things. And so it is important that you make it about people and not about just yourself. I hope you're following. Make it about others. If you make it about others, you're going to want to put yourself in their shoes. You're going to now imagine yourself imagine I'm the one on the other side, trying to patronize these people. What kind of experience do I want to have? This will help you do your branding better. The problem most times is that we don't put ourselves in the shoes of the audience that we are targeting. That is the problem. That is the reason why we treat them the way we do. That is the reason why we don't treat them right. But by the time you begin to put yourself in the shoes of those you are trying to serve, you would understand that there are certain things that you are doing right now that you may need to discontinue, or there are certain things that you are doing right now that you may need to do well. So it is important for you to clearly state. If you do so many things, you may need to streamline, because that is also another major challenge. That when you ask people what do you do, they tell you things like I'm into so many things. Into so many things, you have not said anything. Into so many things, you have not said anything. So here's what I do. I am equal into so many things, right? I design, all right. I paint, I install wallpapers. I of course consult for businesses who want to do their branding. You understand? I also, of course, host this show. I also write, all right. I've authored a couple of books, and I've done so many things. I'm into so many things, all right. I'm one man with several expressions. But here's the thing. What I do that made it is take this as a bonus for this episode. What I do that makes it easier for me is when I'm in an environment, I quickly read the room. What I'm doing by reading the room is I try to understand, okay, this room is made up of what kinds of people. Like if, for example, I'm in a room filled with people who play in the construction industry, I may not really go there and tell them that I'm a brand designer, I'm a graphic designer. I'll just present myself as a painter. Are you getting me? Present myself as a painter, because most likely I would get one or two clients from that audience. Now, if I happen to attend a business conference, meaning that it comprises of people from different sectors, I will most likely present myself as either a branding consultant, right? Or I'll present myself as a graphic designer. So what this means is that any which way I would serve them, I will be following. I'll be able to serve them better. Then if I'm in the midst of students, of course, I'll present myself as a coach, as a graphic designing coach. You understand? So it is important. So that is how you should also treat how you list out your services. List out your services. Like I said before in other episodes, I'll say that this is really extensive. This is really extensive. That is why if you want to understand more, I think it will be important for you to sign up or enroll into the Limitless Branding Institute, one of our programs, so that you can be able to learn more about branding, because branding is really deep. And if you understand the entire concept of branding, you'll be able to do your business better. Be able to do your business well, you'll be able to do your business better. So I trust that with the few things I've shared this amazing morning, you have learned one or two things. And my desire is to hear from you, all right, to know how this show is impacting you, and also to know how I'll be able to serve you better, all right? So if you want to enroll into the program, into any of the programs, you can feel free to reach out to me. And if you have questions, if you've got comments, feel free to drop that, all right? And I would be glad to hear from you, all right? My name is Simon Matthew. Until we meet again, keep doing business, keep making money, right? Keep living the limitless life. And I want you to know that I love you. And I wish you nothing but the very best in your business. So go and succeed. God bless you.